Bud Crawford. Terence is joined by his trainer, Brian McIntyre, looking to go to 40-0 on Saturday, July 29th. It is great to see Terence Bud Crawford. Terence, great to see you. Before we turn it over to the media for questions, first of all, Terence, it's no secret that this is a fight that the world has been waiting for, so much so that your kids were asking you about when you were going to collide against Errol Spence Jr. Now that we're 10 days away from this mega matchup, what does this mean to you?
Well, it means everything. Like I said, this is going to put the cherry on top for my career, and I've been waiting for this moment for a long time now, and it's here now, and I can't wait till Saturday to get it on.
You got here on Sunday. Why did you decide to come to Las Vegas nearly 2 weeks before the fight? Is that something customary, or is it just extra added things that you're trying to do to better equip yourself for this huge fight coming up on July 29th?
Just, come get used to the heat, get used to the atmosphere and everything. So, come fight night with me 110% prepared.
My final question before I turn it over to the medium. When you fought Ricky Burns and you had to go over there to capture your first world title, did you ever think that you would be here in Las Vegas headlining a massive pay-per-view, a fight that the world has been clamoring for such a long time?
Not at all. Like I always said before, when I fought Ricky Burns, my only thing was winning a world championship title. That was my dream, that was my goal, and I succeeded that one night, and the rest is, extra credit.
All right now I'm going to turn it over to the media for questions. Raise your hand, ask your question, wait for the microphone to come to you, and we will go ahead and ask questions to the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.
Hey, good afternoon, Terence. Welcome to Las Vegas. How you adjusting to the climate, the elevation up in here in the heat?
Oh man, I'm adjusting real good. It's just dry heat. Back in Omaha, it's real humid. So that's one thing that you gotta adjust to.
Well, we see some of your workouts online that you're posting, looking pretty grueling going uphill. Legs feel fine. Everything is going to be fine at fight night. Is that why you came out early, like you just mentioned?
Oh, no, I ain't worried about my legs or anything else. I'm 100%, 110% prepared.
Sam Gordon, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Terence, welcome to Las Vegas. Historically, the welterweight division has been one of the most important in boxing. How do you view the legacy of the division as it pertains to boxing history, and why are fights like this important moving forward?
Well, I think the welterweight boxing had a lot of great fights in the past, and this is going to be a great fight next Saturday. And I think there's a bright future for the welterweight division in the near future as well, with a lot of great talent coming up the rankings, a lot of fighters coming from 140 to 147. So I think the welterweight division is still a hotbed.
Cynthia Gonde from Best Response Show Period. Terence Crawford, a lot of people have been mentioning this fight is a throwback fight. It could be a Hagler Hearns. Do you agree? And if you don't agree, what fight would you compare it to?
Well, I don't compare it to no fight. I compare it to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. because at the end of the day, we the one that's fighting. So I don't like to compare myself to no other fighter.
And in the All Access episode, Derek went there and said, "Mama, don't bring your dancing shoes." What did your mom say to that?
Oh, she definitely bring her thing. That's one thing she definitely gonna do. So we're not worried about what he talking about.
All right.
Brian Salmon, NBC Las Vegas. You said multiple times that you don't necessarily compare your fight with one of the fights in the past. You're a sports fan, boxing fan like myself. I know I've watched some fights a million times, like say Mayweather had. Is there a fight that you have, not yourself, that's like your all-time favorite, a couple that you love to watch over and over and over again just because of maybe the technicality of the fight or something like that?
Not at all. Like watched so much boxing, and growing up, when I watch boxing now, I fall asleep. You know, so all the fights that I watched, the old fights, the super old fights, I fall asleep. You know, unless it's live.
And my last follow-up to that, or not to that question, but a follow-up is, you in this relationship with the UFC and Dana White, is that something that you've already had before, or is that kind of a new thing that yourself and the UFC, you know, the facilities and everything else?
Well, I was working out here prior to going to camp. I did a pre-camp here and built a relationship with everybody here in the facility. And, you know, it's a great facility, so why not utilize it?
Terence, over to your right. Andre said with the sporting news. My question is, you and Errol both talked about this being a very competitive fight. Would you be disappointed if it was very one-sided on your behalf? It seems like you both want this to be a war of some sort.
Not at all. If I go in there and win in the first round, I wouldn't be disappointed because I don't get paid for overtime.
A follow-up is, Errol recently said that he knows how to dig deep, and he said that you're more of a class, and he doesn't think you can take the pressure. What is your response to that?
You don't have to show me.
Terence, Sean Zato, FightHype.com. Terence, you know, Errol is considered the A side coming into this fight. Makes a lot of money and whatnot. There's even some speculation he wins this fight with you, he could make a big fight with Canelo Alvarez. Does any part of you take that into consideration and think, I can't fight 115, 113, 7-5? Do you think it all knockout or not just 7-5? I got to make it real decisive because of everything I just mentioned.
Just win the fight. Listen, you know, we both prize fighters. We both make a lot of money in the ring. We're gonna make a lot of money come next Saturday, and I don't worry about what he has planned after me or any of that. I don't worry about going in there and knocking him out. I just worry about going in there and getting the victory, and that's what I'm gonna do next Saturday.
Hi, Terence, right here. First, I have a message from Chris Cyborg who says good luck. Secondly, you already touched a little bit about training here at Apex. I know you've mentioned in the past wanting to potentially do an MMA fight. Does that give you a little bit of extra itch now that you see all these other MMA fighters training around you?
No, not at all. You know, like I said before, I used to wrestle a little bit, but UFC and MMA have never been something that I was planning to do or was training to do.
Hey Terence, Alan Dawson over here. You were mentioning that you just used to wrestle. I know you like basketball as well. Do you think you could beat Errol Spence at any sport, not just boxing?
Of course. I think I can beat anybody at any sport. That's just my nature of things. Like I said, I play sports to win. So if I'm going to challenge you or you challenge me, of course I'm going to play to win, and I'm going to believe wholeheartedly that I'm going to win. And that's anybody. You can beat Michael Jordan, and we play one-on-one. I'm going to still believe that I have the ability to beat you.
Is there anyone, you know, we're at the Apex right now and you've been around the UFC, is there anyone in the UFC that you like watching, whether they're a wrestler or a striker?
A lot of them. You know, Aljo, we just, you know, was playing around, joking about basketball and stuff like that. He just won his last fight. There's a lot of UFC fighters that come through and they work and we just chat here and there. But, you know, when I watch them, you know, I watch them.
Last one from me. It's a really big fight week in general next week. I've got Inoue and Fulton as well. Who have you got in that fight?
Oh man, I'm leaning towards Fulton. I hope he bring it back to the United States. I hope he go out there and do good, and I wish him well.
How have you got it in that fight? Do you think you could finish him, or do you think it'd be like a competitive decision and he gets the W on the scorecards?
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough fight for both fellas, and the better man is going to win that day. I just think Fulton is the bigger, stronger guy that not only bigger and stronger, but he has skills too. You know, it's one thing a lot of people say, oh, well, this guy is big, this guy is strong. But skills pay the bills, and Floyd proving that. And Foreman got the skills to back up his size as well.
Thanks, bud.
Terrence, right over here. Good to see you, Marcus Villegas, Fight Up TV. What do you feel is one thing that they may be underestimating about you and the game that you bring in this fight?
A little bit of everything. You know, like one of the reporters just said, you know, on Glass. Like, okay, he's gonna break me. He's gonna bulldoze me. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. Okay, well, he's gonna have to show me, because you know all that is just like fueling the fire that's already burning. All the things that people saying, all the things that he's been saying, he's gonna have to prove that come fight him. And then that's where all the answers is gonna be answered.
If you had a choice, say whatever happens, and they give you a choice like, hey, you can either have the rematch at 47 or at 154, would you lean one towards the other?
I don't know. You know, we have to see what he's gonna decide, because like I stated before, I'm winning this fight. So I'm not thinking about, you know, what's gonna happen with the rematch. I'm winning this first fight, and he's gonna have to decide what he's gonna do.
Since we are in the UFC Apex, how are you doing, Terrence? Got to ask you this question. We're going to have an MMA champion against a boxing champion, Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury. What shot do you give Francis Ngannou getting the upset and beating Tyson Fury?
0. 0.
And lastly, for your fight, do you think there's going to be a telltale sign where you sense that you break your opponent in the fight, or do you think you knock him out? How do you envision yourself getting your hand raised?
I just envision myself getting my hand rose, however it comes. Like I said, I don't ever go in there like, oh yeah, I'm about to get this knockout, or yeah, I'm about to beat him all 12 rounds, because a fight is a fight. But at the end of the day, my hand rose at the end of the day.
Terrence, right here, Ron Gerard, American Urban Radio Networks. It took so long to make this fight. Everyone anticipated it took so long. What do you think about, does it give an advantage to you or to Errol that it did take so long? Maybe 5 years ago, the outcome would be different?
I believe it's happening at the right time. All the belts is on the line. More to fight for, and what better way to have it than to have it for the undisputed welterweight title of the world. So when a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, this happened too late," or this should have happened 2 years ago," who would have said 2 years would have been premature? And then what? Then who would have had to be our dancing partner? Then we'll make a fight we would have had coming off of the fight with each other. So I feel like it's happening at the perfect time, and the perfect time is now.
All right, we're going to allow Terence Bud Crawford to go and get ready for his media workout. For the media members, make sure to remain in your seats, and then members of our staff will come and get you to take you into the gym. We appreciate